This is When You Were Everything, chapter Pretty Little Lies, pages 112 to 116. Pretty Little Lies. Dom's secret stairwell leads to a small rooftop deck, strung with firefly lights and furnished with cute cafe tables and chairs like the ones in the diner. From up here I can see what looks like miles of rooftops, plus the ever-darkening sky and Manhattan skyline. There's ivy crawling up the brick walls that box us in and block the wind, so I feel warmer up here than I did on our walk home. I feel like I should suggest we work on your paper, I say. I'm nervous he'll say something about not really needing my help, that he'll say something that reveals why he really asked me here tonight. But he doesn't. I pull the sweatshirt he let me borrow a little tighter around my body. I look back at him. You bring all the girls up here, don't you? I ask him. Dom shrugs, but I see that he's smiling. He takes a few steps away from me and walks over to the railing, and I can't help but think about the party at Valeria's where I first met him. We were on a roof then, too. He looks out over the city, and I wish he'd take down the hood he flipped over his head before he pushed the door open. I want to see his profile. I want to see the newest design shaved into his bristly black hair. We could still talk about Macbeth outside, Cleo, he says, and I think this might be the first time he's ever said my name. I like the way it sounds in his voice. He turns around and pulls out a cafe chair. He motions for me to sit down, so I do, and he follows. If you're going to write about Macbeth's ambition, I say, you have to mention the catalyst. I don't think you can say he was a murderous madman driven only by ambition. I think you have to start with the fact that it was prophesied. You have to start where things started for him, with the witches. I will, Dom says. He nibbles his lip like he's thinking, and I look up at the sky so he doesn't feel rushed. But do you really think the prophecy would have come true either way? I nod, without turning to face him right away. Here's what I think, I say. Maybe his actions were influenced by his ambition, but don't you think that fate takes our character into consideration? I mean, he was a soldier. If anything, he should have had more respect for life and duty and honor than the average guy. But he didn't. And if he could be driven to do something so morally wrong so easily, the universe knew he had it in him all along. I realize too late that it feels like a description of me and the stuff I did to Layla. I feel a sudden ache at the back of my throat, but I swallow hard and try to ignore it. I think Macbeth would have realized he wanted to be king. He would have told his cray-cray or crazy wife that one way or another... He would have told his cray-cray or crazy wife, and one way or another, the two of them would have figured out a way to make it happen. I turn to face Dom, and he's leaning forward with his elbows on his knees, watching me. It was destined to end the way that it did. But Macbeth still made certain choices that led to that end. Right? I mean, he had the power to change, if not what happened, at least the way it did. There's no way you think that free will is non-existent and that the universe dictates everything like we're puppets. I shrug. All I know is there are signs littered throughout the text that makes it read as if fate is running the show, not Macbeth. So, I flip open the notebook we brought up with us. I think you should start by arguing that. I feel my phone buzz, and I reach into the pocket of Dom's sweatshirt to grab it. Sorry, I say. It's probably my mom. I ignore her call. Then I ignore the next one. By the third time it starts to vibrate, I realize she won't stop unless I answer, but I try silencing it one last time. Dom gets curious. He leans over and tries to look at my screen. "Excuse you," I say to him. I push the phone back into the pocket of the sweatshirt. "Something important?" Dom asks, and I shake my head. I swallow and look back at the notebook, but I've forgotten what we were talking about or why I'm even holding the pen. I know I'll have a fight waiting for me when I get home, because I'm technically still grounded. Dom scoots his cafe chair forward, and the noise of it scraping the floor slices through the silence. When I look up, he's much closer to the table, much closer to me. The scents of soap and incense are stronger. "I read somewhere that for every lie someone tells, they get a freckle," he says. And I know he's teasing, trying to make me laugh. But I still reach up and cover my speckled face with my hands. "Shut up," I say. "You know you've never heard that before." I peek at him through my fingers. He's grinning. And I want to forget about my mom's calls. I want to forget about this stupid Shakespeare paper and just talk to Dom for the rest of the night about anything we want. But then my phone starts buzzing again. When I pick up, my mom says, "Where are you, Cleo?" I don't want to tell her. I don't want her to know that I'm on a chilly rooftop with a nearly perfect boy who is smart and funny and who likes to cook and read. I don't want to tell her that tonight is the first time I felt genuinely happy in weeks. "I'm on my way home now," I say, instead of a single word of truth. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. I hang up and look at Dom. I jot down a few quick notes based on what we talked about. Then I thrust the notebook at him. "Sorry, I have to go. Text me if you have questions, though, okay?" I start walking toward the door that leads back into his house. "You were wrong about the stars," he calls after me. I look back at him, even though my mother is waiting. I don't want to go home, so it isn't difficult for me to let Dom's voice hold me in place. "I get it," I say. "Our will governs our fate. Macbeth's ambition ruined him, not the prophecy, right? We'll have to agree to disagree, but I want to read your paper when it's done. I hope you don't have to stay up all night." I turn to leave again. "Nah, Cleo, I'm not talking about that." He stands up and takes a few steps forward, closing the space between us. He reaches out and touches the tips of his fingers to a few random places on my face. Above my left eyebrow, atop my right cheekbone, just below my bottom lip. I know he's pointing to some of my darkest freckles. I slap his hand away and he laughs. "These are the pretty little eyes," he says, "not the stars." His eyes leave mine and seem to land on the lower part of my face, close to what can only be my mouth. My lips part, and so do his. "I gotta go," I say, and I run down his stairs and out of his house as quickly as I can.